All, welcome to the DMIS 21M, the mobile development class. And my name is Jeff Raskoff, and I will be the instructor for this class. I'm making this recording using screen capture software. A lot of the class will be done by following along with the videos that I'm talking about. But first off, this video right now, I want to be able to explain how to get started with the class. In this case, most of the class will be done through the Angel online learning environment. So you can get to Angel by using the West Valley College website. And if you click on Angel, it'll take you to the Angel website. I'm already logged in here. Let me log out. Yes. Okay. So it takes you to the Angel interface, and this is what it looks like. Again, they make all these scary attention. You need to use all these browsers, blah, blah, blah. I really don't know. I tend to use whatever the latest Firefox browser is, and it seems to work fine for me, so I'm not sure if you need to be as worried as it says here with all these attention things. I'm using the latest Firefox browser, and it tends to work fine for me. In this case, you log in with your student ID and then whatever password you have set for the Angel interface. Oh, I think I typed in the wrong one. Yes, I did. See, so just make sure that you have your login and password before you go here, and then once you log in, you should see the list of your classes pop up over here. In this case, we're doing the DMIS 21M mobile apps design class. So when you first log into the class, you'll automatically go to the lessons page. It's just the way that I set it up. I did ask you to email me. When I say email me in Angel, I'm basically talking about sending a message, okay? And the messages can be sent through the course option here. So if you click on the course option there, it'll sort of say inbox where I read yours, and then it says quick message here. So if you click on the quick message, you can then send a message to me. You'll see it says to, and in this case, you can choose the instructor. I guess that's sort of where we got here. Jeffrey Raskoff right there, and then to, and then hit OK. So you'll notice that I can send it to me. Then you can give me a subject, my first contact, and then thanks for the class. Here is my info, something, whatever you want to do, and then hit send. And then it'll come into my inbox, and you'll see I have my first contact. Okay, so I'm sure this is basic like an email application. Again, it's under the course option, and you can send a quick message. So and then I'll see, hey, I got a message. So that's where you send it. Calendar, I haven't really set up yet, but each of the assignments will be due at the end of each week. So since this is the first week, it starts on the 26th. Your assignment will be due on first week, should be September 1st. Again, the first page that you'll see when you log into the class will be the lessons page. This first week's lessons, of course, is the syllabus right here. You can read it by clicking on the syllabus. Now it links to my web page, but again, I want you to use the Angel interface to be able to link to my page. I just haven't had time to input all of this into Angel, so I just post a link from Angel to my website right now, and so that you can read the description of the class, as well as I know I list my jraskoff2 email right here, but try and use the Angel for most of the contact for the class. That would be the best to do. In addition, you'll notice that the course objectives is a planned wireless websites. So you're going to have to know a little bit of the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We'll be developing many different types of applications, and we'll be learning about connecting from web pages to outside interfaces and loading data into our application. We'll be talking about developing profiles and designing web pages for specific people. We'll also be talking about, and this talks about tools. I don't know, there's a variety of different applications we'll be using, but mostly you don't need to buy any specific application for the class. And then, of course, this one says prototyping using next generation. So most of the content of this class deals with the latest cell phones and the latest technology within the wireless development. And so that's sort of, this is quite generic. If you look, I'll have more information a little bit later in the class. There's 2 books I want you to get. And I know I originally just listed one at the beginning, but I really want you to get the second book too, the mobile usability, if you can. Here's the ISBN. The first one, of course, is the responsive design. We'll be designing different types of wireless websites. One of them will be a responsive design, which means you can design a page that works on the desktop as well as on the cell phone, and it's the same page. We'll also be developing sites that are specifically for cell phones. So this is just a technique that we use to design cell phone or iPad sites. It's called responsive design. So I want you to get this book, but I also want you to get the mobile design book here called Mobile Usability. This will be more of the theory. Okay, this one will talk a little bit more about code and typing in the code, and this one a little bit is definitely much more in theory, because there's a lot of things to consider when you're designing for a mobile platform. And if you click on the chapter here, you can actually see what it actually looks like. And if you look through, it has nice examples, and it talks a lot about designing specifically for the mobile platform. Okay, so that's the example there. Again, I'm navigating through Angel, and I hit the back button. Sometimes when you click on a link in Angel, it'll open a new tab up here. I'm using the Firefox browser, so it just depends on what's going on here. You can read through. I don't have time to read everything to you here. And of course, it talks a little bit about where you can buy software if you want to buy software. But again, there's no specific software that you need to buy for this class. One of the best things probably for the class would be is if you get the tutor. The tutor can meet you in a tutorial lab. That's what this part says right here. So you can call the tutorial center and set up a time to meet the tutor. I think that would be great for you. I also have lab hours on campus on Tuesday and Thursday from 12:30 to 1:55 in Fox 105 classroom. So you can come during my lab time on campus to get help also. This talks a little bit about grading. There will, and I don't have time to read it all to you, but there will be 13 lessons, and you'll do, each lesson will have 3 things that you have due. Those 3 things will be assignment, lab, and a discussion. And so you'll have to do all 3 each week. Then there's some more information about when to drop or things like that here on the syllabus. And then there's more about safety and concerns and alerts and things like that. So make sure you read the syllabus and understand all the rules and regulations that happen on campus. Next thing is, and I'm going to close this tab right here. So again, when you're using the Angel interface, usually I have it open a new tab when you read something, so you can usually close the tab to go back to the Angel interface. There is a main page that I have on my web page for this class. You can go through and read that again. It's pretty much some of the same information I've already covered already, but read this detail right here. It talks about the content and some of the things that you should be aware of from what we're doing here. So you can read that. And then the main part of the class will be the lessons each week. There'll be, once you log into Angel, you come to the lessons section here, and there will be a main link to the lesson for the week. In this case, it still links to my webpage. I haven't been able to jam all the content into Angel, so I'm linking to it here right now. Again, make sure you read some of the information at the top. It kind of explains what we're going to do for the week. First this week we'll be evaluating pages and just learning how to look at mobile sites is what we'll be doing at the very beginning here, as well as we'll be reviewing HTML basically the first week, because most of what we're going to be doing in our mobile development is HTML, so you should have a good foundation of HTML before we get started. Hopefully many of you already have gone through the mobile development class and understand most of it. There's a video for the first week. This video talks a little bit about how to learn by looking at examples. Okay, so make sure you watch this video. It's a little bit long. It's going to be about an hour long to watch. but he talks a lot about the theory of looking and learning and how to learn by looking at examples. And that's basically how we'll be learning in this class, is we'll be looking at examples. And so that's what this video talks about, is looking and learning from examples. And make sure you watch this. This is a really good video. So that's what I want you to do right off the bat. The next thing is your first assignment is really to just look at mobile sites, and I talk about how in the reading here how to find mobile sites or look at what mobile sites are. If you click on the Home Depot here, you'll see this is the computer version, or desktop version is what we'll be calling this. Then we'll be looking at the mobile version, which has an M in it, and it's called a subdomain right here. So if you look, it says m.homedepot.com. So if we look at that, you'll notice this is the mobile version. You'll notice it's a lot smaller, and so we'll talk about how to format for a cell phone and things like that. That's the most important thing. So the first off the bat, what I want you to do is look at them and then send me a link. That's your first assignment, is just to send me a link. So let's say that you found the NPR one, and so I put m.npr.org in the browser window, and I found the NPR one here. Okay, this is the NPR mobile version right here. I said, "Oh, Jeff, this is one of the best mobile sites I've ever seen." You can copy the link by highlighting it and using your copy command on your keyboard, or right-clicking, some people do, and say copy. And then you go back to the Angel interface. You can go your Dropbox assignment. So everything I just showed you. So to turn in assignments, again, copy your code here. Copy the link right there. Go back to the mobile site here, and instead of sending me an email, which I just told you how to, showed you how to send an email, you can use the Dropbox right here. And if you look here, it says Dropbox for lesson 1 assignment. If you click on there, it'll immediately take you to the Dropbox, which is a way that you can turn in assignments. Now this one, you're not really sending any attachments, so you're just turning it in so that you can just put your name in there. And then I would call it assignment 1, and then post your link there, and then write a little bit about what you liked. This was best. So, think about what you want to write. Don't just write what I'm doing here. This was the best site ever. Really write what you liked about the mobile site, and then hit submit, and then I'll receive your assignment. Okay. So that's how you can turn in assignments using the Dropbox. I'm going to close this tab here. So that was for assignment 1, find the mobile sites. The second part is practicing HTML. And I know some of you might still be new to HTML. So first thing I would do is make it, and I've already done it, a folder on a desktop. So let me get rid of this one, and let's make a new folder. And if I spelled it right here, and then I might make a folder inside that. Of course, on Windows, you could do the same thing. I might make a folder inside there for week 1. Now, for practicing the HTML, you're going to have to be organized. We're going to be linking from files and saving HTML files, saving CSS files, and they're going to be linking back and forth between each other. So you're really going to have to be organized with your files. Let me pause this video because it's getting kind of long, and I'm going to make another one and that talks about how to do the HTML and how to do the lab assignment, and then you can get started. Okay, let me start again right now. Again, we're talking about the HTML part of the mobile developments class. In this case, I want you to make a folder on your computer, and then in that folder, try and keep your files organized. When we do a lot of the coding for the class, there's going to be files that you have to download, files that you practice with, and things like that. So the first thing I want you to do is as you're looking at the Angel page here, you'll notice it does say we're in lesson 1. And in the lesson 1, it talks a little bit about how to code the HTML. First thing you should do is you should understand the basics of HTML5. Most of the development that we'll be doing is in the HTML5 environment. So you should read the HTML5, and you should understand basically how HTML5 works. So you should have a little bit of an understanding before you get started. how things work in HTML5. You can read the information. A lot of this you might not need to know right off the bat. So, you know, that if you don't understand some of it, it's okay, but you should have a foundation of HTML5. This is more of a theory. You don't really do anything in this. This is reading. The second link here is also reading. The most important thing, we're not going to use the boilerplate yet. If you don't know what that is, it's okay, or the style sheet yet. But the important thing on this page is the structure, okay? And you should understand what the head element is, the footer element. We're going to be using head and footer on every cell phone site, so you should know what each one of these are. You should know what the A side is. And so these first links right here, you should understand how to code these already, because we're going to be using them every day in class, so, or at least in every lesson here. So you should know how to code this right here, okay? And you should know how to code this right here. Okay, so basically you're going to have to practice, and you're going to have to, I can't, you know, this is not all just follow along, just type what I type. You're going to have to think about what to type and how to type it, and you should have an understanding of how to type it already. So in this case, you're going to need to practice. There's a little tool right here that helps you practice. You can just type in the code right here. So if we were doing the H1 like you saw in the other one, this is the H1 title. Okay, and then you should, so you can practice with this tool. It's very easy to do. It's a great tool. We can talk about header. This is the top. So I want you to practice. And then, of course, there's the footer. Oops. This is the bottom. And then, of course, in between the header and footer, we'll have different sections. You're going to have to learn what the section tag is. This is the content. Okay, so this is a great tool to get started with. Section. So a lot of the code that you see in a cell phone site is basically what I just typed right here with the header, section, and footer, and a link to some JavaScript. So you're really going to need to practice your coding here, because that's what you're going to have to type. There's nothing that makes it for you. So again, this is all hand coding. You're typing along, mostly either by following what I'm typing or reading from books, or you have to learn how to do it. You can use Dreamweaver if you have Dreamweaver. You don't need the latest version of Dreamweaver. I'm not using the tools inside of Dreamweaver. All I'm doing is using it as a coding program. They also have other coding programs from Adobe. This one, Edge Code. Looks like a good program. I haven't really used it. In the web development class, we used the Aptana. There's also a free one from Mozilla here that looks pretty good. I've used this before, but it's been a little while since I used it, and it seems to work fine. So again, we're only using, or you can just use the basic text editor that comes with your program. Oh, I spelled which wrong. The basic text editor that comes along with your computer. If you're on Windows, you can use Notepad. If on Mac, you can use text editor. I'm going to talk about doing that right now. In this case, there's a lot of practice code you're going to be downloading. Most of it's going to be in the zip format. The first coding for this class I want you to use is from the web development class book that we had used in the web development class called the Merch. Merch is HTML and CSS. Again, you can download the zip files. I'm going to download that one. And then read this one. I'm going to download this one. Then I can download this one. You're going to have to download all these right here. And then I'm going to download this one. So I downloaded all 4 of the different zips that I have. And then there's PDFs that go along with it. Okay, so when I download, of course, my browser here, the Firefox browser, tells it to go to the downloads folder. How do I know that? Well, if I go into my preferences here inside of Firefox, it says where my downloads, save downloads to downloads folder. Now I can choose that. If before I downloaded it, I could have changed that. I could have used the choose button here in my Firefox browser and pointed to the folder. Remember, I made a week 1 folder on the desktop, but I didn't do that. So here we go. Here's all the 4 zip files that I have downloaded here. So I'm going to go to my desktop here. I'm going to open up my folder that I made on the desktop. And there's my week 1 folder here. And I'm going to take my zips that I asked you to download. And I'm going to take all 4 of them and put them in my week 1 folder. Now, since they are zip files, you're going to have to open that up and uncompress them to work with them. So the first one is just a basic HTML one. So I'm going to double click on there and uncompress that one. I'm going to double click on week 3, or not week 3, but chapter 3. I'm going to double click chapter 4. And I'm going to double click chapter 7. Okay, so these are the practice HTML I want you to go through the first week of class. Again, the basic one is a basic HTML file. Now, if I open it up, I can open it up, of course, in Dreamweaver, since it's mostly the development I do in this class. But you can also, if you don't have Dreamweaver, just use a basic text editor. I'm going to use the Mac text editor. Now, one of the problems with the Mac's text editor is it thinks that you wanted to open it up without seeing the HTML. So if you open it up and it doesn't look like this, most likely on the Mac text editor, you need to go to the format. Let's see, make sure I think it was under preferences. Yeah, open and save. And so again, if you're using the Mac computer and you're using text editor, you need to go to the preferences option, preferences. And under open and save, say display HTML files as HTML code instead of formatting text right here. And if you do that, you'll see it and then open the file again. So click on this, close this window, and then open it again in the text editor, and you should see it as HTML code. Once you see it as HTML code, you can start typing in the code, practicing what you saw. You can use this as a boilerplate. What a boilerplate basically means is that it's code that's already started, already been formatted for you. So what kind of code do I want you to do? Okay, well, in this case, you should first read, and if we go back to the web page here, go back to Angel here. Inside Angel, it says, here's a chapter, okay? Well, before I get into that PDF, I'm sorry, let's go back to that real quick here in there. So the first one is a basic boilerplate right here. The second chapter, chapter 3, is basic coding samples that you can look at. So I think I talked about the headings, okay? You saw me do the H1. So if you open that one up, it'll show you the different H headings. You see we got H1, H2, H3, H4, H5. So, and then if you want to view what these pages look like, you can open them up in a browser. And there you can see what they look like. Okay, so again, I'm including a bunch of HTML that's already been typed up for you. And this one talks about how to type a link. We're going to be having a lot of links in mobile development, so you should know how to make a link. HTML, how to do the image. Okay, so you can see the image link right here. There's an image right there. So how do I code that? Well, there's a sample in there. So these are starting points that you can do and practice and looking at. The second part is, of course, chapter 3 here. This is all about CSS and how to do CSS colors. Again, you can look at samples, and if we look at there, this one talks about how to do the shadow on some text. So you can open it up and see how that is coded. In addition to looking at the samples, I have included some PDFs, and if we go back to the Angel interface here, if you look at the PDF right here, it goes through how to code CSS. So you should read this text here. You can zoom in if you can't read it. You can zoom in. You should be able to read it. You can print this out if you would like. Print it out and view it. But you should be able to, do the CSS for this class. What I mean by do it, you should be able to understand how this works. Like, you should be able to read this first one. Use an external style sheet by coding a link element in the head section. So you should know to link to an external style sheet is by linking in the head section, and this is the code to link to the head section right here. A lot of the mobile development, we're going to be linking to external files or external links. And so you should understand this by now that this is a link to a folder called styles, and the file that it's looking for is called main.css. So, and it explains what this means in the reading that is over here. So, you should understand that, because we're going to get into mobile development right away, and we're going to be linking to external files, and you need to know how to do it. And of course, there's a lot of links here, and just by me, say I'll type this in. If you don't understand what you're typing in, then it's not doing you any good either. So, make sure you read and understand what this is telling you as far as the CSS right here. The second part, it will be there's another PDF for the chapter 7 that you downloaded, and this one is a lot longer and goes into a lot more detail of the HTML and CSS. So you need to make sure you understand how to do chapter 7 from the Merch book. Okay. Again, how do I do that? Well, you're going to have to just code some of it. You can go over, and I'm going to shrink this down a little bit so I have both my HTML. So remember, I gave you the boilerplate HTML. Well, you can come over here and just type it in. So if I zoom in on this and I open it up, in this case, this talks about making an ordered list, okay, as well as, and so you can come over, and of course I'm going to get rid of most of what's in here right here. I'm just going to leave my body tags here. So again, the boilerplate one that I gave you from chapter, the first link, it says basic HTML. I have opened it inside of the text editor. So as I'm reading the PDF that explains a lot of the HTML, you can practice. You should be practicing. You could either use that online tool. Remember, I showed you the online tool, or you should be able to do it in some kind of editing program and saving it, because you're going to have to type in some HTML and save it too. So just doing that online is great to learn, but you're not really saving files. So in this case, I can type this in, UL for unordered list, and then I can type in my LI for a list item. This is 1, and LI. Now the reason why I'm doing this chapter 7 from the Merch book is because most of the code that is in here is for mobile development. The list items that I'm typing in right now are how are you going to make a menu inside of the mobile development is going to be using a list like this, okay, ordered list or unordered list. So you should be able to make a list, and here's a basic list right here, typing in the code, and then of course saving my file. There is no save as in this text editor, so I'm just overriding my original one. So you might want to duplicate that before you start, and of course Dreamweaver you can save as. So practice this code. It's very important. You don't have to turn it in for this class right now, this first week, but this is your assignment is to just look at mobile. But you should understand this, and if you don't, you're going to have to practice because we're going to be moving on. So that was, where was I at? Oh, that was under lessons, main class webpage. Oh, we're in lesson 1. So hopefully that gives you a good understanding of how to do the basic HTML here. You're going to have to, there's going to be a lot of downloading files and reading from PDFs. And I'm going to say, type in the code from this PDF, and so you're going to have to be able to do that. The last part of this first week is the lab part. When you're doing the lab part here, it's basically how to save an image save a web page as an image, and then I want you to send that to me. Okay, again, to save, you download, for the lab part, you're going to download I use the add-on from Firefox called Screen Grab, and there's a link to it right here. It'll take you to Screen Grab, and if you add this to your Firefox, what it'll do is, if you find your favorite, read the content, it says find your favorite website. Let's say Yahoo is my favorite website. I can then right-click on somewhere on the screen here and go to Screen Grab, save. Oh, I'm going to have to go a little bit further away. Let me start over here. If I right-click on the web page and go Screen Grab, it should pop up, and there's a diagram that shows how to do that. Right-click on the page and go Save, Save Complete Page as a Frame. So I'm going to do that, and it's going to ask me to save it as a PNG. I might then go and put it in my folder. I'm going to go and put it in my folder so I stay organized. I think I said a mobile development 2. My week 1, I'm going to put that in here. This is going to be Yahoo page, and then I'm going to put my name on it so I know who I am. Jeff Raskoff. And so I'm going to save this file. Again, it's very easy to do. You just right click and screen grab and save. And then go back to the Angel interface, and then underneath this is the lab Dropbox right here. So if I click on the lab Dropbox, I'd say this is my Jeff Raskoff's week 1 lab. And then you might write about why you took a screen grab and why you love this web page. And if you hit attachment here, you can then go to your desktop, and I'm going to go to my screen, my web development folder, my week 1 folder, and there's the screen grab I just took. I'm going to go and open that, and then I'm going to, so you browse, upload file. No, that isn't. No, yeah, I guess that's when you want to hit upload file. And once it's in here, again, I guess you can drag and drop too. But browse to your screen grab that you took of your favorite web page, upload it, and then say finish, and it'll send it as an attachment to your Dropbox. And so then you were successful. Okay, so if I go back to my lessons page, I should have, hopefully, your homework inside there. There it is. See? Oh, I submitted it. Beautiful. Okay, so your homework has been sent to me. Okay, so again, let's go back to the lessons page here. And then the last part of this class, or at least each week, will be a discussion. What is a discussion? Well, first thing I want you to do is click on the link for the discussion. This discussion says review the video example. Again, I think we've already, I think I showed you the video. Oh, this video link doesn't work inside here. I'll have to fix the video link. It's linking directly to a YouTube video inside of Angel doesn't work. So I have to kind of find a workaround to linking to videos inside of Angel. I will fix that. But for the discussion, you watch the video, and then I'll post a question for you. I don't know why this is not working. So I'll fix that. And then basically what you do is you post a new post, and you post an answer to the question. So that's how the discussion works. So I'm still working on that right now. I'm still getting Angel to respond to me here. So this is how you get started in the mobile development class. Again, the most important is to get started with the HTML and understanding how the HTML is going to work. Make sure you email me the first week, or at least send me a message under the message.